What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Byte Life. Byte Life is a place where you can get all your data analytics and data science learning right here on YouTube. And hopefully it'll help you learn a little bit more about a topic you're interested in when it comes to the tech field. If you feel like this channel is going to be something you're interested in or watching my journey of becoming a data analyst or data scientist, make sure you guys subscribe down below. A little bit of background on myself. I'm currently in finance and I am trying to break into tech. I found my passion for data analytics and data science a little bit later than most, but that is not stopping me from accomplishing my goal. So I got my bachelor's in economics, hence the pursuit of a career in finance. But with all the new changing things in tech, especially when it comes to data science and artificial intelligence, I figured this was a movement that I really wanted to pursue. I've always been interested in coding, but always kind of thought that was for like Ivy League kids, since computer science and software engineering is deemed very complicated, which it is, but after putting a lot of effort into learning, I've actually increased my programming skills a lot recently. So after doing some research, I figured that the best way to pivot from finance into tech was actually data analytics. A lot of the skills that I actually use on a daily basis at my current job translate pretty well into the data field, surprising. There's a lot more connections in finance and data analytics than one might expect. So today I would like to lay out my current learning path or roadmap that I'm taking as far as what books I'm reading and what programs that I'm learning to accomplish my goal of becoming a data analyst or data scientist. All right, let's go over the learning roadmap. Being a current financial analyst, I feel like the most logical first step is, of course, Excel. Excel is probably the most common platform when it comes to anything data analysis. I remember I started using it in high school, obviously through college, and then my entire job right now can basically be run on Excel. I'd say the important topics when it comes to Excel are, of course, VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, and getting very comfortable using the formulas that are actually within Excel, whether that's actually coding them in or using some of Excel's built-in functions. Excel also has a pretty good array of data visualization tools, whether it's like bar graphs, scatter plots, kind of the basic stuff that we would do in high school. That also leads me into my next stop along this roadmap, which is Tableau. If you're in any type of data field or finance field, you've definitely heard the program Tableau. A lot of large corporations are honestly like kind of foaming at the mouth at this software. It is a very, very powerful data visualization tool, and it's really cool because you can link it to your live server, which actually creates a dashboard, which is live. You don't have to continuously feeding it data. It automatically just pulls it and updates in real time, which is super cool for seeing how certain trends are in the market or just seeing how some of your accounts are doing. If you want to become a data analyst, I'd say learning Tableau is super important. Honestly, there are some job descriptions on Indeed and Glassdoor and all those job boards that are specifically for Tableau. Like, they are data analysts, data visualization experts. So my next stop along this roadmap is going to be where we start to get into a little bit more of the actual coding, and that's going to be SQL, or structured query language. I'd say SQL is a very basic data manipulation language. I say basic and for beginners because this was honestly my first real coding language. My old job, we used to use it within Excel, and that's kind of what opened my eyes into the data field. So I think it's really, really good for beginners. You can also build relational databases, create your own tables, join, and just honestly write whatever queries you want to answer whatever your business objectives are. I also really enjoy this one because, like I said, this is like my first coding language. When I wrote my first query, it felt like I was actually doing something like in the tech field, which not only answered my business question and business objective, but it also felt pretty good that I actually wrote some code. So my final stop along this roadmap is going to be a little bit more complex due to the sheer scale of this platform. And I think a lot of you guys already know where this is going, but we're going to be talking about Python. So Python is the most popular language across all industries, not even just the data analytics, data science world. And it's so popular because it's relatively easy to understand because it reads a lot like English. If your goal is to become a data scientist or become like an AI, ML engineer, you 1000% must be extremely proficient when it comes to Python. So within Python, there are certain platforms that make it easier to accomplish certain things. And so my favorite one at the moment is Jupyter Notebooks. I really enjoy the layout when it comes to Jupyter Notebooks, and it's very easy to track your progress when you're going through a full data model process. I'm also gonna throw R in this category because I think learning R is a very valuable skill, especially when you're doing a lot of high-level data analysis. I'm gonna bundle it right there with Python just because it can be a very complex and very code-heavy program. If we're looking at my entire roadmap, this is the program that I'm currently on. My master's program at the moment is very pro R, and so a lot of our projects have been how to use R, loading a lot of the scripts, so that's currently what I'm focusing on. I don't have a big enough background when it comes to R, but I'm working on it. I know there's a ton of learning resources out there on the internet, but I have actually found that using books and textbooks is kind of the best way for my own learning, let's say. So let's go over some of those books right now. I'd say it's extremely important before you even dive into any of these to really change the way you think about using data in your everyday life, and when you look at a problem, think of the data or solution behind it. So that's why the first book I'm gonna recommend is Analytical Skills for AI and Data Science. This book is extremely good at introducing the world of data, artificial intelligence, how it's being used today. It's also really easy to identify the aspects and little bits and pieces of data science that you're currently doing in whatever role you're in, and kind of bringing it all back into terms of data. This one also has a bunch of use cases which I found extremely beneficial. Once again, just to truly understand a lot more of the high level data models and concepts. The next book is going to be for learning SQL, and we have Practical SQL. Honestly, out of the books I'm about to tell you or about to show you guys, this is by far my favorite. One of the hardest aspects when it comes to learning tech, computer science, whatever field you're trying to get into, is actually downloading and creating the environment on your device. I don't know if anyone else has run into those issues, but I'm constantly having to Google, how do I set up SQL? How do I connect it to SQL Server? Do I need to download Anaconda? There's just so many different things that you need to do to create the environment in order to start using a lot of these steps. And this book, especially obviously for SQL, mapped it out perfectly. They have it for Windows, for Mac, whatever other platform or operating system you use. This book honestly walks you step by step through any SQL problem you could possibly have, with obviously within reason, let's just say. As you're going step by step, it shows you what you're supposed to get as your output. You actually know if you're doing it right, and it has a bunch of screenshots that really helps you kind of track where you're going and where to find certain things on the screen. So the next book that I'm going to go over is for learning R. So this is the R book that I am currently using. Like I said, I actually don't have that much experience using R, but my grad program is very pro R, so I actually had to get this book in order to kind of catch up my learning when it came to using R and all the business cases that come with it. This one is very similar to Practical SQL. It has a bunch of screenshots and walks you through it, but I don't know, I just like maybe the verbiage of the Practical SQL one better, but this is still a really good book for beginners, and once again, setting up that environment. So the last book that I'm gonna show you is basically an all-in-one Python book. It is called the Python Bible. This book actually has, you can see it, I got it all tabbed over here. Has 7 books in it. It has Python for beginners, for intermediates, data science, machine learning, for finance, neural networks, and computer vision. So I know that sounds like a lot. This book definitely has a ton of knowledge, but I've really appreciated the way that it breaks down really complex ideas into more common terms. They don't use a lot of high-level vernacular, let's just put it that way, because that's kind of one of the things that I found most intimidating about making this jump. Is I'm constantly having to look up what certain words are, and I know that that's comes with learning something new, but when you're Googling every other word in a sentence, it makes it kind of hard to learn. This book does a really good job of breaking down the overviews when it comes to each of these individual fields. I think it's a very useful tool to have along when you start creating some of these projects. It's not a guide where it walks you through step by step, but it's more so just a general overview and has bullet points on each of the desired subjects. All right, guys, so there's my current learning roadmap for learning data analytics and data science. I know this is a very broad roadmap, but I truly believe that this has given me a really good foundation when it comes to adding more skills and really understanding new technologies as they come into the workplace. And if you guys would like, I got all these books on Amazon, so I can provide links to them in the description below if you guys have any interest in getting these books for yourself. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you guys subscribe to check out my journey of becoming a data analyst or data scientist in the future. It has definitely been a dream of mine. I know I got a long way to go, but I'm excited to see what happens. So if you guys are still watching, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week in another video.